Hello once again, welcome to this video. Today I'm going to share with you my A320 FCU Altitude knob, which has a complete functionality. The design is based on my already working push-pull Rotary with push and pull functionality like this. In one of my videos, I have detailed how to assemble this thing together. So it is based on this design that I expanded it to have the 1000 increment setting for the altitude knob. So what do we need? Right, just like the other knob from my previous video, you need these switches. This one, this rotary encoder with the push function, a on and off switch. This comes in multiple sizes. There are much smaller than this, there are larger than this. I don't know what size this is, but this is roughly the one you need to use for this set. Right, and we have 8 pieces of 3D printed parts. I know it's a lot, but this is the simplest I can get based on this design. If you stick with me towards the end of the video, you'll get what I mean. And if you choose to print this, an important note is for these pieces, I recommend they have to be having an infill value of at least 40 or 50 because you need the extra strength. You need the strength for this and these two as well, especially if you're gonna keep on removing it, replacing it. Happens to me, this head snapped off because of 20% or 30% infill setting. Similarly, this hub which holds everything in place has to have a 50 or 40 infill setting. Right, so let's get started. First, the rotary encoder goes into the inner shell, goes through like this. You notice this now has a tiny notch in here. I don't know what is this for. Maybe for structural purposes. So what I do is I just nip it off with a nail cutter or just bend it like so that it's level off. And then bend these two. These two things, you don't need this. You can nip it off. It's just there for structural requirements. You need to keep this 5 legs for the button and rotary. Right, so it goes right here, like so. And in goes to the outer shell, like so. This switch goes right here. By the way, if you want to remove this again, you cannot do that unless you take this switch out first. In which way you can just easily flip it like this and out it goes. Right? It goes back again. And this brace is where I will put this switch in. Now I had this a little tighter than necessary, which is a good thing because what I do, I just rotate it. So the thread in the shaft will cut their way through the hole and thereby making a thread of its own, which is a good thing because once you get it in place like that, it's already tight and you may not need this, but for extra strength, I'll just put it in anyhow, like so. Now this brace goes nicely through this railing here. You might need to bend this a little bit outwards so that it slides through like that, and then just slowly push in until you hear the nice click like that. Nice fit, sturdy enough. If you want to take it off, you just pry the hooks outward like this and you get it out. Right, then we have these pieces here. This thing goes with this. Right, and we have a mock panel here, like so. This one put in. You notice we have some protrusions here and some latches underneath here. You will just have to align them yourself. It's a bit of trial and error, but you know it fits because you will hear a nice click like that. Oh, and by the way, this hub, you can either use a flathead wood screw to fix them. In my case, I would prefer to use a glue like this. Any super glue will do, Altico, Mighty Bond, or from anything from Scotch, because I don't see a reason why I have to remove this in the future, because you can still remove all the things here if this is fixed on the panel. And just for info, the measurements of these shafts here are based on 5mm board, right? So if you use thinner than this, like 3mm, what you can do is to maybe insert a piece of plastic or cardboard between the panel and the plastic to move everything a little bit further out to compensate for the 3mm panel you use. If you use 5 or 6, I think it works. Right, so the whole thing slides into the hub, and make sure the position of the switch will fit right into here. You don't want this knob to be facing the other side and then the switch is the other side. This slot here has to receive the head of the switch. Like that. And we're almost there. Let's give it a try. Right. Oh, before I forget, sorry about that. We need to shove the shaft in to this encoder. You can push it all the way through until you cannot push no more, like that. Right, and go back here. Sorry about that. This thing goes right in. Right, you have to hold it with a finger to support it as you push this thing on the other side. There, nice little click. And this thing goes in. There you go. And finally, the knob. Oh, by the way, one more thing. You might need to sand this piece here or use your kitchen carborundum bar, because I had it purposely made slightly bigger than the hole here because we need to fit. If you have it too loose, it will be very easy for this thing to come off when you pull it. But if that happens, what you can do is on a permanent basis, just again use a drop of this right into here before you pull this in. But doing that, you might not be able to take it off again from the front. But what you can do is to pull everything from behind. Right. One more thing is there is a pattern on the layers of the 3D printed parts, and if you shove them together, they kind of rub against each other. So there's a great friction between two parts with horizontal patterns. What you can do is to sand them off to make them lesser. What do you call that? Reduce the grittiness. What's the word for that? Anyway, there it goes. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Okay, another thing, for those of you who have different design, you might find that this plate here is a little too big than your panel. But for my case, I have here a mock of the panel I'm using. It fits nicely and doesn't interfere with the neighboring knobs, like so. Right. And by the way, again, this is made of Sintra board, 5mm thick. Now the decals is printed on vinyl sticker, which is quite a strong material. This is the same material that advertisers use to stick on cars, trains, buses. So they are meant to be water resistant as well as direct sunlight resistant. It's strong, it's waterproof, so it works. And this is how I made it. I just made a square cuts of this buttons where my Cory goes. And by the way, I designed the Cory myself. I will make another video on how to make them as well. If I can find where my battery is, we can have this. Oh, never mind. So that's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and again, I will be sharing all the STL files. I am having a problem with my YouTube account at the moment, so I cannot type the links on the description. However, I'm gonna put the links as a comment. So if you like the video, it helps to subscribe and hit the like button. Thanks for watching.